Before we get into the Flyers, what do you guys think about the physicality that we're seeing this year?
I love it. I'm old school. I love it.
I agree.
I play when you used to make him earn it at the foul line. I miss those days.
Welcome to Shooting the Breeze, and we are live drive time. And you're much better listening to us than listening to the radio because we get to talk about the WNBL and they don't. Joining me today, I've got Kerry Waller and M. Palmer. Guys, it's great to have you back. And we're going to have a talk about the first 3 rounds of the WNBL season. But before we do, how have you guys been doing?
Doing great, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, really well. Em?
Yeah, I'm going good.
Yeah? Been doing anything special, guys, or just hanging out watching WNBL?
Just catching up on all the games.
Oh, okay. And I just need to say that in some ways I'm a little bit jealous of Kerry. She has this incredibly long distance to travel to get to the games. I think it's about what 10, 15 meters from work.
Yes, it has worked out pretty well with this Tuesday night fixturing. Would have been a bit tricky if I was coming from elsewhere, but I literally just have to walk out the door, so it's handy.
All right, so guys, we're three rounds into the WNBL. Got to say, it's been good results that I think have surprised some people, and I think also, I can say it from my perspective anyway. I don't think the ladder, the way it stands at the moment, is anything like what I expected before the season started. So, kind of curious to hear from you guys. What do you think about the way the ladder stands at the moment?
I'm just looking at it now. Geelong will be up there. I don't think there's any doubts about it. They have Mackenzie Holmes, who has just been a problem. And between her and Jazz Shelley, they're 2 young guns that are going to be enough to get them up from 8th.
Yeah, obviously Adelaide Lightning were at the bottom, so they got their first win on the weekend, and they're only in 5th based on percentage. So as amazing as it is to see them there, and we'll stick it up everyone who had them down the bottom. It is, there's Adelaide, Canberra, Geelong, Sydney, and that's all based on percentage. So.
Yeah, look, I think there's a couple of surprises for me. The Caps. I honestly, on paper, I would have expected them to be further up the ladder, and Sydney, I was expecting to be further up the ladder as well. And we're going to get into a whole lot of conversations about this, but I think it's been a bit disjointed. It's almost like you've got, for a lot of these teams, they've got all the pieces together, but it's like they just haven't quite gelled in a lot of cases. I mean, Townsville, Perth, and Bendigo, it's almost like they've just picked up where they left off last season. The rest of the clubs, it just feels, like I said, they feel a little bit disjointed. Adelaide, obviously, it's effectively starting from scratch, so it's something different yet again. Yeah, sorry, you were holding up 2 fingers there.
Yeah, so just 2 returning players out of the whole list, and a new coach, new ownership, new front office, complete rebuild, really.
Yeah, and it's what, 4 months, 3 months?
Yeah, it's been a ride.
Yeah, and look, just to clarify, you spend a lot of time. I mean, you've got a lot of connections with Adelaide, so you've probably got a better feel for what sort of issues the team's had than the rest of us. But to me, it looks like it's incremental steps that they're working on to try and slowly improve, given the fact that they've come together so late in the piece.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I got to ask Kez in the post game after the win against Canberra. She has very high expectations. So as happy as she was with that win, and there was parts of it that came together, there's still so much room for improvement, and I think that's one thing that's quite exciting about the Lightning as well.
Okay.
And I think you see with the top four versus the bottom four, the difference in, I don't want to say ages because none of them is old, but it's definitely the more experienced cores are in the top four and the rebuilding young guns are the quote unquote bottom of the ladder at the moment.
All right. So, look, let's talk about some observations. I mean, we've all been watching the games. We've all been watching the teams as they played through these first 3 rounds. What sort of observations have you got in relation to the teams? Like, what's the one or two key things that you, if you look at the clubs, that you see? So, we'll start off. We'll do this alphabetically, I think, because that's reasonably fair. So that means you get to start, Kerry, with Adelaide. What's your observation?
I already jumped the gun. Sorry about that. So it is around, consistency. Lack of consistency to start with, and the opportunity for growth, not only as a team but the individual players as well. I think, there's some really exciting pieces there. Yeah, it's Kez is the first time head coach, and she got her first win in the WNBL. So it was pretty historic, that win. So it was the first win for the team as a new franchise. It was her first win in the WNBL as a head coach. So hopefully that's a bit of a confidence booster for them as well. Like they can win, they can perform at that level. And especially, I don't think they would have. I don't think anyone else expected them to. But also, for them to beat Canberra, that's a quality team.
Mentioning that, what players specifically are you seeing as having not only the potential for growth, but for those that are, like stepping up to be able to, and particularly in that game, to get that win?
Yeah, so Shan Rabadi is probably the one that doesn't really get the limelight because the stuff that she does doesn't show on the stat sheet. But again, she's a player who's playing her first season in the WNBL. Has done quite well in the NBL1 with Casey, NBL1 South with Casey Cavaliers, and had the debut with the Tall Ferns in the Trans-Tasman series. She is seriously tough, and she's a core starter for them. And then, of course, you've got Taylor Brazel, who's not new to the league, but she is returning from those back-to-back ACL injuries. So she's someone that just seems to be getting better every game.
And I want to jump in and just add Serena Sundell. She is just a nightmare matchup for anyone. She's a 6'1" point guard who's just coming out of a super successful college career. And she's jumped in. I want to say she's 23, 24. She's had a little bit of a break. She got cut from the Seattle Storm, she just went and played national 3-on-3 for USA instead. So no big deal. But she's just come in and she's leading that team. She got that first score against Caps and it gave her the confidence. It gave Steph the confidence to be able to distribute and then open her up for scores because Steph Talbot isn't the volume scorer, but she's a volume leader. And when Serena can lift up, when Sanaya Fagan, who's also 23, 24, can find their rhythm, it then allows Steph to get in there and then have her 20 piece.
Yeah, spot on him.
I think a lot of people probably looked at Adelaide at the start and just kind of went, yeah, new team, like you said, new front office, new everything. It's going to be it's going to be tough for them to get off from the bottom of the ladder, and you alluded to that so nicely before, right? I think it says a lot about the team and that the fact that they've gotten to where they're at, where they're fifth. And I think also there's some real opportunities for the club to be able to grow again. I reckon if they stay consistent, right, if they stabilise that consistency, they're going to be a tough challenge for a lot of teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they are relishing that underdog mentality. Like I mentioned it to Kez at the press conference, that, they lost that first game to Perth by 2 points. Like it's not like they're getting, beaten convincingly. And I asked her, I said, I presume that you've seen it. I presume that you've seen the rankings. And so what are your thoughts? And she said, bring it on. She said, and underestimate us. Like, we love it. Bring it on. So, yeah, they're sort of, they see it, they know it. but I think they have that belief in themselves. They know that that's probably not where they should be either.
Yeah. I'm kind of interested to see exactly how this is going to continue, this growth in Adelaide. I think, look, it's been a tough journey for them. But okay, let's move on to Bendigo. Got to be honest, was kind of expecting to be just a little bit, maybe in second place rather than third.
Well, I guess there is, there's the two teams above them have played the 3 games and had the 1 loss, and they've played the 2 games and had the 1 loss. So, as much as we look at the ladder and take that in consideration, like there's going to be a lot of movement, right, in the next 3 games as well.
Yeah.
As we get through the sort of, I guess, the quarter mark of the season. But yeah, they've also, so they had Casey Samuels go down with an injury, so she missed the last game, I believe, which would have been a bit of a loss for them. They had Kelly Wilson announce her pregnancy, so that's a piece that they would have been expecting to have as well. But I don't think there would be panic stations yet for the Bendigo Spirit. And I think I touched on it in our preview podcast. I was really excited for Isabel Borlase and the opportunity for her to grow there, and the opportunity for growth for her on so many levels. So under Coach Kennedy Kariyama, with those veteran players, and she's showing it already. So she scored the first game the 17, second game 20, third game 26 points, and she's already having a career best average so far. So she's averaging 21 points per game, 6.67 rebounds, 4 assists, 2.3 steals and a block, just to round it out. And she's just getting started.
Okay, I got to ask you, did you just rattle that off from memory, or have you got it written down somewhere?
Oh no. No. I did do a bit of research, but I guess I just wanted to be able to back it up. Like I'm obviously disappointed for her to leave Adelaide, as everyone was.
Yeah.
But I was excited where she chose to go. I could see exactly why the choice would have been made.
They've been an interesting team the way they've been playing. I think there's real potential for them, and I think one of the key things is they've still got a little bit of settling to do. Once they settle in and kind of sort out their missing pieces and get, Casey back as well, because when she's on, when Casey Samuel's on fire, she can really rack up some points. So I think that's one of these. Let's watch this space with Bendigo. But Em, what do you think?
I think just touching on Casey Samuels, they can't put their best defender on her. You've got to put your best defender on Izzy Borlase, Tolo, Griffin. That you've maybe got your 4th or 5th, your quote-unquote worst defender on the court on Casey Samuels, who's either going to, we saw her ankle break people and drop a 3, and then she can also just back you down in the post and take you to the rim. Like, there's just so much for her. That's kind of the same with Izzy Borlase. Izzy Borlase is a big guard, and she gets to now be with those vets where she can do her little reckless drives where she falls to the baseline, but also they pick her back up and she doesn't do it for another 5 minutes, and it's great. And she gets to facilitate a bit more, which is a part of her game that I've been excited to see, and I think it's just improved her decision making, which has led to 21 points, 6.7 rebounds, and that whole stat line.
It's pretty impressive, right? There was, when I was looking at Bendigo, there was one person actually that I wanted to ask you guys about, because I feel like I'm slightly biased because, she looked after me. Abby Weirung I thought she's had a great start to the season as well, and she's just building from where she left off last season.
I love her. I think she's great. She's another big guard. I think that's a trend that we've started to see with Australian guards, which is awesome, kind of catch up with America in that sense. But she comes on, she can give Izzy Borlase a break. Like, Izzy doesn't have to guard their best player. Abby Weirung can go guard the best guard and then sit in the corner and make a 3. Like, she's another one like Casey Samuels, where the two of them are just problems for other teams, because what do you do when your 5th player isn't Casey Samuels or Abby Weirung?
Yeah, there's a bit of depth there. Yeah, look, what can you say about Abby Weirung? I mean, she's a consistent performer. When she gets the bit between the teeth, look out. She's really hard to stop. And, it's the pieces of the Bendigo team are really well put together. I think it's just a matter of get a little bit of settling, get everybody healthy and back on the court, and it's going to be really, really tight up the top of the table. Okay, we'll move on to the Caps. Go on.
I think that little segue of health is very important with the Caps.
Yep.
I think what they missed, especially in that Adelaide game, they don't really have a centre. They're really missing Zatina Ayakuso in there because Teague Morrell can hold down defensively, but offensively, she's just not the threat that Zatina is. She's not an offensive threat that when you go against Townsville, Lauren Cox can stand in the middle of the key and get her 7 blocks again. Like, they need a centre who's going to allow the space for Jay to drive, for Sarah Blixus to drive, for Potch to drive. And then if they can lead the drives, my biggest question for them as well is just where's the 3 ball? Other than Nicole Munger and maybe 1 or 2 from Blixus, if you're not shooting the 3, you're not going to win many games. Because you look at Perth, you look at Fire, not only do they shoot it, they make it. And that's the difference between a win and a loss, because 3 points is more than 2 for any mathematicians out there. But that's just a bit of the game where they've got the defense, they've got the athleticism. It's just kind of, I think they're missing that next oomph that brings them into the top 4. But it's also round 3, so it could also just be a massive overreaction on my end.
So I haven't seen anything about Zatina. Do we have any idea of when she's expected to be back?
Yeah, well, I did ask her and she said she didn't know, but yeah, she was doing she was on court with them training in the half court before the weekend.
Okay.
And so she's starting to get back into it. But when I asked her when she was in Adelaide, she didn't sort of give any indication of how soon that would be, but just happy to be back on the court with the team. Yeah. And obviously traveling with them as well, which is, I think, has been good for Team.
Yeah.
So I think she'll just be that next step for them. She'll just be that defensive anchor that can, if Jade goes for a steal and she gets beat, she has that backup in the paint. They can get their defensive rotations going, which I just think they've lacked a little bit to start this season off.
Yeah, Jade, I don't know what's going on with Jade. Against Adelaide, she was visibly frustrated. I think one of the positives I saw, though, which was kind of cool, and I haven't had a chance to talk to Nat Hurst yet, but Nat Hurst in her assistant coach role was down the end of the bench, like just, you could tell, just really listening to her, hearing what she was saying, and I just looked over and I went, how amazing, like how lucky is Jade and that Canberra team to have someone of Nat's experience and wealth of knowledge to be like, yeah, I've been there, I get it. Talk to me. Like, how do we get you back on track? How do we fix this? So I could see the interaction, and I obviously don't know what it was all about, but I thought that was a really interesting and really cool sort of piece of that puzzle. And I think that's gonna be really beneficial for Jade, especially having a rough start to the season, just to build that confidence back up in her.
It's I think it's kind of it's a thing that we've all noticed. There seems to, if you look at the post-game presses as well, there's a level of frustration amongst the Caps because, again, on paper, it's a solid team. It just feels like they're not gelling, and they're just not firing on all 8 cylinders at the moment. They get close, but not quite there. And I think they've got to calm down a little bit and make sure that they don't let that frustration creep into the game, which kind of just gets them a little bit off balance, and then it affects the play across the game. And I think the other thing is, if you look at the way they played in that first game against Southside at JCA, you can see what's there. You can see the potential. What's the piece that hasn't quite worked?
Yeah, well, I think Em touched on it with Z, right? Like our game is there's a lot of you need balance, and maybe you don't. We also try not to talk about one player making such a big difference. It's not about one player, but when it does affect the balance, that could be a real key.
Yeah, and because of that, people have to play out of position. Like Katie Sisko, as amazing as she is, I don't want her playing the centre. I don't want to see her posting up on Lauren Cox or Mariana Tolo. I want her outside, getting downhill. If you have to play the 5, put her in the high post, get some high actions. But playing out of position isn't what you want to see in a young team. You want them developing in their Jade as a 1-2, Jada Clark as a 3, maybe a 4 if you go small ball, but their small ball should be an option, not the answer in the games that they're going into.
Nicole Munger, it was my first time seeing her play live.
Yeah.
Like, I had heard good things. I'd seen the stats. She was impressive.
She's insane.
She was great.
She hurts my heart a little bit, killing Sutherland in that grand final at NBL 1, but that's okay.
Yeah, well, yeah, she was kind of on fire that game.
I'm happy when she does it against other teams. Makes me feel better.
Okay. The Fire. Well, what can we say about the Fire? Em, I'm going to throw this one over to you. Let's hear what you got to say.
My point was just who can stop them. Like, they didn't even have Chantel Horvath against Perth Lynx, and your first 2 subs off the bench are your 2-star imports in Lauren Cox and Lucy Olsen. That is such a luxury that Lauren can come on and play your 5. She can give Froling a break. But Lucy can sub on for any of the other 4. You just go, okay, Abs, you've worked hard on D, come take a seat. Lucy Olsen, go in, drain that 3 on your first catch. Like, what a luxury for them to have. And I've mentioned her a bunch before. She was last year's Defensive Player of the Year for a reason. Like, 7 blocks from Lauren Cox. She just stands there and swats. She doesn't have to do anything. Like, and then she comes into the game and makes 3 threes as well. Like, what? Yeah, Perth stops them for a little bit. They caught up, but one injury in Ali Wilson and they kind of fall off again. So if you want to beat the Fire, you need to shoot 60% from 3 and have a fully healthy team. Like, I think Shannon Seaborn is a brilliant head coach. He calls his timeouts at the right times. He implements his subs when he needs to. I think Chloe Forster did a good job in that game. Just coming on, I think she played about 5 minutes, just being a solid defender, where on the flip side to the Caps, they can all play their roles. They all know their roles. They do their roles to the best of their abilities, to where it's a Milasoa game against Perth. Go off Milasoa. But then Courtney Woods, next week, you're the one dropping 30. Like, it's just, I know that they've had a loss, but I don't think I see them having many more in this season.
Well, and no coincidence that loss was to Bendigo, right? Who we've just talked about being so deep, and so balanced. So if you haven't looked, I'd put it in there, but if you haven't looked, there was a question on the broadcast last night if 7 blocks in a game was a record. It is not. Do you guys know what the record is?
I do, but that's because I cheated and already looked at it. So
it just so happens there was an update to the documentation, and yes, and Dooley got a number.
Right? Mariana Tolo. I nearly fell off my chair. I had no idea until I looked it up. 13 blocks versus Townsville in June 2009. Like, just ridiculous. And then, of course, the GOAT, Lauren Jackson, had 11 in the year 2000.
It doesn't even crack top 15. She needs to get a bit better at the blocks, apparently.
Oh, and you know what? She probably will, but that was just the 3rd game in. She's just warming up. But I thought the same thing. I thought, oh, it must be close to a record. And then to go back and see that, I was like, that is pretty impressive. And I already love Mariana Tolo. It just gave me another level of respect for her.
And then makes sense why Fire's one loss is to Mariana Tolo. She wouldn't let Lauren get the upper hand.
Right?
And, the other thing about it is you really recognise how solid that record is when you think about the fact, like you said, it was set in 2009.
And she beat, and at that time she'd beat Lauren Jackson's record from the year 2000. So
Yeah, that's it. It's like, okay, maybe we should run a sweep. How long is this record going to stand? Everybody's in for a buck. Closest gets to keep the pot.
I reckon Lauren gets 14 with a block on Tolo. That's my call.
Oh,
in the grand final.
In grand final to win the game.
oh, okay. So that's it. Em's gone out on a limb on that one.
I'm calling it now.
I got to say, the Fire for me, what a team! They really are. Solid everywhere. There's it's hard to pick a weak point in the team and in their game. And Shannon, what is it? 5 times Coach of the Year,
Oh my gosh! Yes, it is.
right?
Yeah, he's getting a 6 this year. I'll call that now.
Okay, so
I'm sorry.
Em's been taking brave pills today.
I'll just make all the calls.
I just need to correct myself because I got that wrong. So Bendigo's loss was to the Fire. Fire's loss was to the Flyers.
The Flyers, yeah.
Yes, that's yeah.
Apologies.
Yeah, and we'll talk about
Apologies.
that one in a couple of minutes. Okay, now this is the team we're gonna move to the Flames, and I got to say,
Oh, before we move on, Paul,
yep.
we also have to mention the Fire haven't played at home yet.
Yeah. Well,
They're
just
still
run that one in the mix.
still yet to have their first home game.
All league.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, okay. And that venue's everybody. I mean, I've never been there, but everybody tells me it's a tough place to play. They are a one-eyed fan base. Okay, Flames. Now we're a little bit like I said. I'm surprised because I didn't expect them to be at the bottom of the ladder at the moment, but they've had close games, so it could have gone either way for a couple of their games. And you've got some observations on this one.
Yeah, I think like Lauren Nicholson is Lauren Nicholson, but my next question for the Flames is who else? I've just pulled the stats up now. Lauren's getting 24 points a game, which stellar from her. She's just come back from a baby and she can do that. She's just superwoman. But then there's only one other player averaging double figures, and that's Unique Thompson with 12.5 points. It's just not enough. Like, Shanice Swain has been out with injury, sure, but I just don't think we've seen enough from the others where we saw it against. Oh, I can't think. I'm blanking on who they played against. They played against someone and they just locked up Lauren Nicholson. Like, she went off in that first half. Oh, Tara Reid.
Yeah.
Tara Reid just locked her down in that second half. And I was live at that game. Paul, you were there. We were all just standing around waiting for Lauren to do something, whether it was her to get open off a screen. But I don't know if the secondary option hasn't realised that they're the secondary option or what the next action is, because even there was just too many late shot clock situations in specifically that game where we spent 8 seconds looking at Lauren trying to get around the screen and the defense was too good. So what's next? Is it a pooper? Does she become more of a scoring point guard this year? I think Izzy Morgan's been impressive in her first couple of games. I think she's been really solid. Unique's been, I think, brilliant. But I think the player I would say that needs to step up a little bit is Keely Froling. I love that she has developed the 3 ball. I don't want to see it every possession. I would love to see some actions that allow her to get downhill. She's great at a pull up in the key. Like, just something else to get someone else going that then allows Lauren to average 30 points because now she's not guarded on a kick-out 3. Yeah, and then Laura McSpadden, she's come back. I think more from her as well. Like, it's consistent with the teams that are lower on the ladder. They don't have a big presence that's matching the other teams. Like, the top 4, they all have solid bigs. We all know who they are. But then maybe just more physicality in the post. Maybe match what the others are doing out. It's a physical league this year. So match it. Don't back away. Just rise to the occasion and hit some shots.
I'm no good with pronunciation. Olivia Apupa?
Yep.
Yeah. So she came in and replaced Grace Berger. So has she only played the 1 game so far?
2.
Or 2 now. Yeah. So yeah, I guess she's getting a little bit older now, and I hate this because everyone's saying it about Kayla, so I don't want to say it about other players. She is getting older, but I guess she brings that championship winning experience as well as, she was a grand final MVP. So hopefully she can, settle into the team. But I guess being an injury replacement and coming in late, hopefully she's still just finding her place. But I mean, is it the obvious thing that they lost Kayla George and haven't quite been able to fill that gap?
Yeah, I like looking at the roster. I was really curious with the Apupa pickup. I did think that they were going to get another big. I think the loss of Emma Clark has been huge for them. She is size, she is poised, she's a great defender. Where they're not the tallest team in the league. They're not there in height. You can't help that. But they've got to do something else. They've got to be a bit more physical. Maybe they switch up defenses, maybe a little bit of zone. They've got dog guards. So use the guards in a way that's going to give you the advantage.
Yeah, I think there's a few things going on for the Flames. I mean, obviously, Apupa coming in, she's an injury replacement. We know what she can do when she's on fire. She showed flashes of that in the last game that they played. I think she's starting to settle in. She can be really, really dangerous when she really hits a stride. And I know that guys said a couple of times that it's a matter of getting her to settle in because, again, it was like last season, a very, very late in the piece replacement necessary. So things didn't quite gel as they expected at the beginning of the season. But that being said, I'm also going to throw out there that there's a solid team there. They need to fire. If that team fires, there's wins there for them to take. So it'd be interesting to see how they settle over the next couple of games. But the next couple of games is where we really want to start seeing some turnaround from the team, because given how solid some of the other clubs are, it's going to be a tough call to get into that final 4.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. Just in the whole league this year has gotten better. So not just Flames, each team need to find something that's going to separate them. The Fire have found that they just are a gun team and that separates them. Perth have their 3-point shooting. Flyers have developed their physicality. So not just Flames, but Canberra, Adelaide. What's going to be the thing that they can do that the others can't? For me, I think the Flames have the best defensive guards. So pressure the other guards. Make them think. You have big guards. You have lots of them. Like, Apupa's the smallest guard, but nearly the most experienced one on that team. So maybe just figuring something out to use that to their advantage. Like, get into Maddie Rochi's head, get into Courtney Woods' head, just be able to keep niggling at them to find that strength to then get out and leak. Because even though they don't have Mariana Tolo in the middle, you have bigs that are going to get out there and run. So maybe just finding more ways to run as well.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how the team responds tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be an interesting one to see because I'm given the improvements that Olivia Pooper's had over her couple of games. I would hope to see more production from her. And yeah, it'd be good to see Keely drop back into her regular style of play,
Yeah.
but also have that 3-ball kind of just sitting there when to be able to throw it up when they're making it hard for her to play the regular game.
Yes. Utilize it more as a weapon and a secret weapon as opposed to this is my first option. Have it as your third, where you can then just knock it in because it's your first shot of the game or whatever it is.
Yeah, and that also puts the other team a little bit off balance because they're wondering which way is she going to go. She's going to come inside. Is she going to play the outside game? Which way is she going to drop? And that'll unsettle the other team and maybe enough to be able to open up some other options.
Yeah.
Now, we've talked about the physicality, and let's talk about the Flyers, who've been a physical team. But also, before we talk about them, I want to just touch on the fact that this season's been pretty tough. It's been physical. You know, there's a couple of times when it's getting close to being ice hockey. But it's good to see that the refs are letting them play. They're not blowing the whistle too much. But there's that fine line because we saw Ali Wilson last night got a broken nose. So, before we get into the Flyers, what do you guys think about the physicality that we're seeing this year?
I love it. I'm old school. I love it.
I agree.
I play like when you used to make him earn it at the foul line. Like I miss those days. So no, I really like it, and I think the fact that we do have some genuine bigs to see some, to see some real post play. But again, the game's changing and developing, and I love that we can see a post play down one end, in one offense, and then that same player steps out and shoots the three. Like I love that.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned on Saturday, there's the inconsistency must be really hard for the players because there are times where they are letting them play, and then there's times where they're pulling some softer stuff. And so, yeah, if it's going to be that way, let it be that way. But I feel like there's still a bit of an adjustment going on at the moment, and that would be really difficult for some of the players.
Yeah, I agree. The inconsistency within the games is what is frustrating because how you blow the first 2 minutes of the game should be the same as how you blow the last 2 minutes of the game. If you only get 3 fouls in the first quarter and you defend the same all game, but all of a sudden you have 7 fouls in the fourth quarter and you lose by 1 point, you go, okay, if this was called like this in the first quarter, one, we probably would have had players fouled out, but two, there would have been adjustments. Yeah. And it's hard to make those adjustments in clutch time when you want those players on the court because they're playing physical. They've been rewarded for 3/4 of the game. So why change it in clutch time?
Yeah, and I think that was part of Jade Melbourne's frustration against the Lightning. She ended up getting fouled out, and I think that might have had something to do with it as well.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the Flyers, and I'm going to play a clip, an audio clip that we've got from the team. Emma, I'm going to throw it to you.
They are the physical team, aren't they? They have the vets. They've got Kayla George down low who can bump you. I am a huge fan of Hayley Peters. Her experience from Europe, she played a season in the WNBL, and you can just see she's a classy player. She's kind of like Casey Samuels, very high IQ, can bump the body low, can also get out and shoot the three. And then along with Hayley Andrews, I really like Hayley Andrews. I'm a big fan of how she plays. And it allows Maddie Rocci to have some relief. Hayley can play that one, and then Maddie can go be the dog defender that she is. I just think it's really nice for them in how they can all balance and coincide, along with the preseason MVP, Izzy Bourne.
Sorry, I can't not say this. I love Casey Samuels, but classy is not a word I would ever use to describe it.
That's how they're different.
I don't think she would claim to be classy either. Okay.
So look, one of the things that was really interesting in that game that Southside won was the three that Kayla dropped at the very end of the game, which was just the dagger that really set it up. Now, I just want to play out this, and then we can kind of have a little chat about it. Okay, and this question's to the both of you. How good did that feel when you saw that 3-point shot drop from Kayla towards the back end of the game?
Funny, I said to my assistant coach, if that shot doesn't go in, it's a shot. But it went in. So I was pretty right. But yeah, like those moments, it's like, oh my God, that's not a good shot. And then you're like, oh yeah, no, that's a great shot. Like that was a big shot. And that's what Kayla's done over her career. Like I was with her when she won MVP at the Boomers, and she come up with big shot after big shot. So yeah, that was a huge shot for us.
Now, you got to say that that's one of the things about Kayla. She's gives 110%, does not quit, and will turn around and drop a shot like that. And as Christy rightly said, if it didn't go, it would have been, let's just call it a not great shot. Yeah. Right. But, you can't count out a team that's got Kayla on the roster.
No, and I think anyone who has coached junior basketball can share the same sentiment as Coach just did, where you go, oh, that's not ideal. Oh, that was fabulous. Pat yourself on the back. So I think with Kayla, she's just that player, though, isn't she? She misses, I'd say she makes more with hands in her face than one's wide open. She makes the dagger ones. She makes the one she needs to. And she almost takes too much of a breath on the open ones. But then it's fine because she'll make it when all 5 of them are closing out at her.
Yeah, you can't, like I said, you can't count her out, and the experience that she's got, not only here but internationally as well, means she'll pull out options that you just wouldn't necessarily expect in a particular situation.
She did it in a WNBA grand final.
Yeah.
Like she's no stranger to those big moments.
No, absolutely not. Okay, let's move on to Geelong, because we're getting down to the back end of the show. I'm going to throw this over to you, Kerry, because there's a bit to discuss about Geelong, I think.
Yeah, I have to admit I haven't. The game that they played Adelaide, I think I was sort of listening to it more than seeing it. I may have made a sneaky comment that it was a real shame that Elisa Pili didn't play against Adelaide. So that injury to them was a big loss.
Yeah.
I was really looking forward to the impact she was going to make from the get-go. She will obviously come back. So she's expected to come back mid this month. So she's probably going to miss another, hopefully only another couple of games. So that was a big loss to them. And then Mackenzie Clinch-Hoycart, got the concussion injury, so she's out with concussion protocol, but it looks like she should be back this weekend as well. So that's good for them. But yeah, just and of course Shyla Hill is expected back in the next week or so. So a bit of a rock, I guess. In terms of injuries, and we talk about stability and balance. It's been a little bit rocky for them in that sense. But then they've got a lot of good stuff happening too, haven't they, Em?
I just love Mackenzie Holmes. But you'll notice I love all the Seattle players, but what a tough start to her pro career she's had. She tore her ACL, got drafted by the Seattle Storm. She managed to stay there, work out. She played maybe 10 minutes this season for the Seattle Storm in total. And she's just come in and shown the player that she is. Who can guard her? I can't wait for the Lauren Cox matchup, as I seem to be the biggest Lauren Cox fan as well. But
you're not.
But it's just so exciting to see the young, fresh out of college girls come over, because it's a great league and it's widely respected in the WNBA. We've got Sandy over there who's at Toronto, which great call by me. And then
that's what we like to hear, a little bit of modesty.
But then just the Australian players that are over there. Mackenzie had Australian teammates. She had Ezzy McGaw. She's seen how Ezzy plays. Why wouldn't you want to play like Ezzy? Come to where she's learned it. And then I'm a huge Alyssa Pili fan. I'm actually devastated that she's out. When she comes back, she's another one. Between her and Mackenzie, pick your poison. They're both going to put you on the floor.
Yeah. I think the thing here is when they do come back, they're going to be on limited minutes. Not only Alyssa, but also Shyla. It'll be interesting to see what sort of impact they have to the results for the team. But more importantly, as the season rolls on, they're going to have more impact on the game. So be interesting to see how Geelong tends to get the results, particularly in the middle part of the season. It's one of those watch this space with Geelong at the moment. And okay, our last team, Perth. And also, before we start talking about Perth, there are a few people from Perth listening at the moment, and so a big shout out to the people in Perth listening. Okay, let's talk about Perth because there's a lot going on there. I'm going to kind of preempt something that's going to be said, but seriously, who expected the Hangzhou announcement?
No.
No.
And then the player that fills in is Brianna Turner. It's fine. It's no big deal.
I know. And then Ryan Petrick drops that he's been trying to get Breezy for years.
Yeah.
And so he just thought he'd like have another go, just for shits and giggles. I will just try again. Oh, yeah, she is available for this period exactly when you need her. Yeah, no worries.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, what do you say to the way that's all kind of just falling into place?
Good for them.
Yeah, not so much for everyone else.
Yeah, it's crazy. But also, and I asked Coach, and he didn't, he's pretty nonchalant anyway, right? Like he didn't really buy into it. But, there is going to be some ins and outs. Like it's fantastic to have Breezy right now, but she will leave.
Yeah.
And it will be great to have Hangzhou come in, but she's going to come in towards the end of this month when they've already, almost halfway through the season. And then then she has to find her place in the team and they have to work out how that's going to look. So that's going to be interesting. Obviously, Alex Shibutoni had an amazing start to the season and unfortunately is out, with an ankle injury. She's got another week or two to go, I believe, until she's back. So, yeah, like it's swings and roundabouts, I guess, for Perth.
Yeah.
And I think as well, Hangzhou and Brianna Turner are completely different players. So having to make that big of an adjustment halfway through the season, I do think it's going to affect their playing style a lot because Bri Turner can get up and down the court. She's a defensive anchor. She's a 2-time all WNBA defensive team. And Hangzhou is 10'7" and can shoot the three. Like it's quite different for the playing styles.
I mean, I knew she was tall, but I didn't quite think it was that much.
Don't fact check me.
I was going to say something, but it's probably not right because I've heard she's very good. I was going to liken it to Taco Fall going to the Breakers, but I don't think that's a good comparison because I don't think that worked out super well.
No, Han's good.
No, I think the thing is, and you hit the nail on the head. Having her come in, she's got such a completely different style of play to Bri Turner. You're going to be sitting there thinking, how much of an adjustment does the rest of the team have to make? Right now, to be fair, while you're making your adjustments, you can still have Han just sit there in front of the bucket and put her hands in.
She's gonna break the block record.
Yeah. Okay. That's.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
But until they kind of seriously, it's a valid option while you get the rest of the team to adjust to the change in style. There's some interesting stuff happening in the back end of the season that's going to keep everybody guessing.
6'11", just to round that one out.
It's close.
Yeah.
Yeah, and do we have any stats on her wingspan?
I said it, 10'7".
That was good.
I think a now thing for them though is they need to get Amy Atwell open. Not only has she been voted as the best shooter in the league, she's also a self-proclaimed best shooter in the league. So, like watching that Adelaide game, I think she ended up with 8 shots taken. Like, best scorer in the league. Let's get her scoring. Like, let's run some sets from her. Like, the shots she was taking, I don't think that they were bad shots, but when you haven't had your shot go in yet, they're the shots that you take when you warmed up because they will go down. But run some staggers, run some drags for it, get her coming off, get her stepping into it. I just think she's having to create for herself too much at the moment where you've got Bree Turner, you've got your Maya Morris. That's a scary screen coming. Like, I wouldn't want to go through that. Get Amy running off her. She has players who can distribute, even with Chibber out. You've got Steph Gorman. You've got Maylee who can distribute. Bree Turner can distribute if you run a cheeky little handoff. But that's something that they can fix now because she's going to spread the floor for them. If she gets going, as she said, she's the best shooter in the league. Like, let's see it happen then.
You were close. Her Hanju's wingspan is 7'3".
Wow.
So 6'11" tall, 7'3" wingspan. There you go. I'm calling it now. She's going to break the block record.
Yeah. Good luck, everyone. Don't drive in.
Okay, so we're going to say that anybody who's got small ball in their core plan may have some issues against it.
Yeah, get it out against us. Don't do it.
All right, guys, look, it's been great talking to you both. It's been great talking about this last 3 rounds. Really looking forward to the start of round 4 tomorrow with the Flames playing Canberra at the Key Centre here in Sydney. And it'll be interesting to see how things pick up. I'm expecting that the Flames are going to go a whole lot harder, but you got 2 teams tomorrow that have got a lot to play for. So I'm expecting to see a tough physical game, and I don't think anybody's going to be stepping back from anything.
I'm expecting at least Jade Melbourne and Lauren Nicholson to foul out.
Yo! Okay.
On each other.
This is definitely the day for Em to come up with the
got a crystal ball in front of her.
Sure. Okay, guys, thanks so much for your time. It's been great having you on the show, and look forward to talking to you again in a few rounds, and we can see how things have developed.
Can't wait. Thank you so much for having us.
Always a pleasure, guys. Make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you get our latest pod, and we really appreciate if we could get a like and a review so we can extend the reach to more listeners. And don't forget, follow us on Instagram, Twitter and LinkedIn.